I just didn't. I was just so frustrated at the idea that I was back in my hometown and nobody seemed to give me an answer to some basic questions. I understand division.
Mm-hmm.
I understand the separation of morality and spirituality
Mm-hmm.
and principles about life and culture. I understand all that. I do. But I think there should be a common ground, and the best way that you can affect change is through communication and cohesiveness and together,
That's right.
not separately, and definitely not violent.
Yeah.
I didn't go to jail with Martin Luther King and sing his funeral because I believed in violence. You do it through spoken language. If you can't go any further, if it ends there, then whatever the next move is what we experienced in the 60s, and it was almost on the cusp of a revolution. I think that all things should be dealt with first in a way that could be less violent. Try that first. You know where I'm going with
Most
this.
definitely.
Exchange of ideas, concepts. See how we can work it out, but do it respectfully. And if you get a lot of shenanigans and no gooders and no good people in the middle of that crowd who don't want to behave, then you expel them. You get rid of them. But there is no peace without war, and there's no war without peace. So they do go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You know, I did not. We don't. Our culture never got anywhere by being nice and kind at the sitting table.
Meekness never worked for us.
It never works.
Yeah.
No, and I employ people to try communicating through the spoken language first. If that doesn't work, then you have to go to another option. You know, because at this point, this country's on the verge of that. So much division. That's why I didn't accept that when I came here. Black people are not going to come over here and communicate and socialize with the white people. And I told them I don't believe that. Maybe I said the thing is I don't think you all know how to relate to us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's just huge cultural differences that I feel is there because questions aren't asked. You can't get to know right. You can't get to know and become familiar with something that you aren't inquisitive about and that you aren't willing to accept, right, as being another person's truth.
Yes.
It's very difficult to do such when you have been fixated on an ethnic group, a religious group, et cetera, a certain way because your grandparents told you or your mama told you or the education system's told you based on the misinformation. And so I'm glad that transpired and that those brothers came out.
And what you just said is the common denominator for the equation of confusion now. It has been.
Man, we're going through it now.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's very clear what you just stated.
Yeah.
Most people can't relate to other people's cultures.
No.
And yet they're being in a position to make decisions for them.
Church.
The white people here don't know how to relate to people of color because they can't relate to it. They can't. Yeah. And I'm being very general.
Yeah, sir.
I'm being very general. I'm not castigating all white people. I'm not saying that.
Sure.
I'm just saying, as you just stated, you have to have some kind of relativity. There has to be some kind of understanding, some form of empathy. And when I came down here, all I hear was, I've tried everything I did. I said, well, that's because you don't know how to speak to us. And as you just stated, my dear friend, you said asking the questions, but they don't know how to ask the right questions. If you ask the right questions, you'll get the right answers.
There you go.
But the key is knowing which questions to ask. They don't know how they relate to us.
No, yeah.
And that's being general because there are a lot of very successful black people here.
Sure.
We're very successful in this community.
Yeah.
As in every community. Mm-hmm. You just don't know who is what. Mm-hmm. It's just our culture.
And then also everyone's level of what success looks like is always going to be
yes, sir.
For me, it could be a cabin living up here and not having to deal with horns and
Yeah.
sirens and everything else, and I may be in what other people may deem a little shanty or shack or
Yes.
just not enough square feet, versus someone that's somewhere else that's like living on a lake and
Yes,
have
sir.
a 4,000 square foot home.
Yes.
But for me, that would be success
Yes.
because I've acquired what I need to acquire to resemble what I want my piece to look like, versus someone else
Yes.
looking at things from a more materialistic type things.
Yes.
But there's no greater wealth than what intrinsically feeds and fuels you on a daily basis to say, I got to get up and do it again.
That's your soul. That's it.
That's the soul.
And you're right. It all right. It's perspective.
It's perspective. So we're gonna...
For joining us again on another episode of Hometown Chronicles USA. This has been a clip from our full interview with Samuel Waymon. If you want to watch the full interview, click the link below, or you can click the other link to watch some of our other content. We would love if you would leave a like on this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us make more content like this on YouTube.